Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to open up this sample data sheet that should be on Google Classroom. So if you don't have this open, pause the video and open it now. First thing I want you to do, and you should have learned this from our last video, is I want you to highlight or bold the headings, the column headings. So let's highlight these three cells, A1, B1, and C1, and we're just going to put them in bold. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to alphabetize this list by last name. So click in cell A1 and drag it down to cell C10. Okay, now I think we're going to click View, Insert, Data. Okay, now go to Data up top in the toolbar. This is called the toolbar. So go to Data and click Sort Range. Okay, data has header row. You need to check this off. Okay, let's not check it off first. And let's see. Column B is what we want because we want column B to be sorted by last name. And let's sort it without checking data has header row. Do you see how the headers are mixed in? And last is in with the L. It's alphabetized. We don't want that. So let's undo that by clicking this. And we're going to go back to data and click sort range. And now we're going to check data has header row. And we're going to sort by last. Okay. Once you click sort, okay, now it is in alphabetical order by the last name. And their respective donations have changed with it. Okay, next, what I want you to do, look at this data here. In column C, do you see anything inconsistent? Well, only two of these inputs have dollar signs next to it. So obviously we're dealing with donations, so this is a dollar amount. This should all be in dollar amounts. So highlight all the data in the C column, and let's just click this dollar sign. And it automatically adds the dollar sign to it. Now what I want you to do is sometimes when you're using data, sometimes you don't want to see certain decimals. Okay? So let's say we just want to round this to the closest dollar, all of these. You can click this button right here, decrease decimal places, and look at what happens to the numbers. See how we have 1892.50 here? I'm going to hit this twice, and now it rounded up to the closest dollar, 1893. The rest of them probably rounded down. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Now I want to show you how to put on borders. So we only want borders really for our headings. You can do the whole data set if you want, but I'm just going to do it for the headings. This is the border button right here. And let's click this one. I like this one the best. And now you can click out and you see we have border headings for our row headings. Okay? It makes it look a little more neat, the data set. And now let's see how much money was donated to us. Okay? And how do you think we're going to do this? If you think back to the last video, I showed you a very useful function, okay? Let's do that. Let's use a function called sum. And we want to click in cell C11 and put the sum in there. And now I can just click and drag for all this money. And it sums it all up. So the total donations we received are $1,030,289. So that was using the sum function. Now let's see what the max donation is. Let's label this. Total donations. I'm going to bold this so it stands out. And let's put in cell C12, let's put the max donation. So I'm going to use a function again. Obviously, we can see that the max donation is Bill Gates with $1 million. But if you have, 3,000 rows of data, you're not going to be able to see that so fast. So this is where the max function comes in handy. And don't drag it down to C11, only drag it down to C10. And now I'm going to hit it. And here's our max donation of $1 million. So I'm going to label that. Let's bold it. And now down here in cell C13, I want to see what the average of all the donations is. So we're going to do a sum again, and we're going to do average. Let's X out of this. And remember, we're only clicking and dragging down to cell C10. So the average donation is $114,000 and $477. I'll put average donation, and I'm going to bold that. So when you're dealing with statistics, a common term you're going to hear is outliers. And sometimes you don't want to calculate including outliers. So this massive donation right here, this is an outlier. Okay? So let's make a graph with this data and see how it looks with the outlier. So this is a bar graph of all the donations. Look how silly this looks. Bill Gates' donation massively outnumbered any other donation. So I guess Yvette is the next largest donation with $11,000. So this is going to make looking at the data kind of awkward. So let's get this graph out of here. You can just delete that graph. And now what I want you to do is remove Bill Gates. We're going to remove Bill Gates using a filter. So let's highlight this data set from cell A1 to C10. And I want you to click this button over here, Filter Views. Create new filter view. Let's X out of this. And you go to the C column and click this. This is the little filter button, okay? We're going to go in here and we're going to remove the $1 million donation. Uh-oh. What's going on? So scroll down, find the $1 million donation, and let's click this check. So we unchecked it, and now we get to see the data set without the $1 million donation. And let's see what the adjusted average is. We'll put that in here. And so here's the problem with the adjusted average. Even if we put in the function average and we click, it's still going to add the donation with Bill Gates. So how can we go around that? Let's insert the function again, and now we're going to manually type which cells we want away, or which cells we want to average up. So if you look carefully, it's skipping the fifth row. So we're going to do C2 to C4. Whoops. That's a colon right there. Then press comma, and you're going to type in C6 colon C10. And then hit enter. And this indeed is the average donation when you exclude Bill Gates' massive donation. So let's say adjusted average. And we're going to bold that. And now let's make a new graph. I think if we highlight this data and make a graph, I think it'll exclude Bill Gates' donation. So where's the graph? Right here. Insert chart. And yeah, it excluded Bill Gates. So let's try and zoom out so we can see this better. So this, look at how much better this graph looks compared to before. Before, we couldn't even see these bars because Bill Gates' outlier just massively outweighed any other donation. So this is how to manipulate some data and a data set in Sheets. Now I want you to turn this data sheet in with this graph with the filters, just as I did in the video. Turn it in on Google Classroom.